Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kimbo, Kimbo. Tata nZambi. Hallelujah. Let's see when you might not be able to hear this song very well, but I want to play a song off my phone. You know what? Let me just do it like this. Kimbo. One second. Kimbo. Siemi. Lovuvamo. Yala! Wow, things are already kicking off. It's getting crazy. Here we go. But we all knew it was coming. It shows that I'm live. All right, all right. Let me get this song going. Kimbo. Natata nZambi Yama Zulu. Kim Fumu Kyakuisa. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Play this song right here. I'm waiting. Yeah, well, I'm waiting. No problem. But this is going to be an interesting message here. Siemi. Revuvamu. Kimbo. Hallelujah. Yenge family. Yenge Keno. Yenge. I decided to come on and do this live. Something's going on with my Zoom, so I did it live. I don't know if you can hear the song or not. I have my speakers on behind it because I'm on my headphones, but okay, cool. Luvuvamo. Hey, you know, today is November the 21st, and I'm not surprised that what just happened, even though it should not have happened, according to the warning that went out on Veterans Day. So we're going to get into that. But it goes back to the scriptures. Hope everybody's doing well. That's on right now. Appreciate you. We know things are starting to pick up steam now. And the world is not going to understand the things that are coming. And as you can see, they started to kick off already. Zola. See me, brother, see me. Yengi, Luvuvamu. I will do just that. You know, I'm just going to say that this is now more time than ever for the Bantu family, the children of Isolele, the Bilaka children, the descendants of Isolele to become more unified and united in one voice, one spirit, because it's already starting to get to this point that I'm going to talk about here. That's all right. I understand. Mbote, 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 kyambote. Yengi, yengi, yengi. Excuse me. Luvuvamu, Luvuvamu. Sawubona, Dumalong. Kimbo, Kimbo. Natata nZambi, Yama Zulu. Kimfumu Kyakuisa. Family. I came on this live because as things would happen, and it kind of goes back. I was in the assembly yesterday, Assembly of Isaiah Congo in the world. There were some things that were talked about, and ironically, some things that I could tell was in the work were in the works, and it came to fruition. Is what's interesting, and we're in that next phase now as we're going to start. So first of all, let me talk to the Most High about Tata nZambi and Pungo Talendo, Tata, Bawo Likolele for my zonas against the Father. I ask that any wicked things or anything that's attached to anything will not proceed, that they will be blocked, that everybody will be able to hear the word that we say today to our people, and Father, the Mon and Velala would flow and help our people to understand what the season is and the times that we're in, as we continue to see now the events unfolding. As the enemy does his work, we know we have to counter, and we are ahead of him, and we will indeed win this fight. Tata nZambi and Pungo help us to be strong in this time, as more things to come will happen, and to be sure that we do not have the spirit of fear, as many people will have. Nakombo yo, Yahweh Congo, Bena Yahweh Congo, Kusfa Congo, Ingeta, hallelujah. All right. I want to give honor to Kuswa Congo, Isaiah. I want to give honor to Mon and Velila. I want to give honor to the 24 elders, the council of the Most High. I want to give honor to the Maleki Congo, the children of Isolele, the descendants of Yakuba, Abano and Saka Yakubi, back to the lineage of Dama. For those who were in righteousness, you know, I give you greetings. I give you greetings to all the Bantu people scattered across the earth, and the non-Bantus who are part of this cause. We greet you. I entitled this, "They shall have a spirit of let's see, what is it? The hearts will faint." And where am I getting this from? And this is something that we even discussed. This is the coming of the son of Muntu. Okay. Now, of course, we know Simon Toko and the things that he did, Simon Kimbangu, Simon Padi, of course, Simon Toko especially. We knew that the Hamasia came incognito. The Most High put the spirit on Simon Toko, and he did the things that he did. But he's also now putting that spirit into us. Like, many people don't even know um, that there are things inside of them that the Most High has put there that is in preparation for when the things start to pop off. And so they will be unlocked when these events take place. Um, again, I honor those who are doing this great work. I recently made contact with Yaya Pastor Mello about something regarding. I was actually recognizing. I saw that something about his birthday, and he made a comment that the coincidence of the November the 24th to the February 24th. And I said, it's kind of, we have some spiritual linkage there, because November 23rd is 9 months before, um, or February 23rd. And I was born the same year that Toko went back to Angola, that same time frame when he left Portugal right after they took his heart out, because I was in the womb at that time, I guess, as I understand. And now I can see, because I was expected to have issues, because my mother, Satan, was using her to try to kill me with her heroin addiction, and I was spared. Even, as I said, I had the highest brain functioning of anyone who would have been susceptible to drug use. I wasn't even addicted to drugs. Sadly, with some of the curses that were placed on me because of my grandfather, my father, and her, I did get an addictive personality for other things, and that's what has been part of my problem. Sadly, as I call it, I inherited King Solomon's sickness. With many wives and women, he had that desire, and I'm sure many Bantus struggle with that as well. Um, because of my lineage, now I understand certain things, and so our role here today is to help us to come out of that and to be able to reconnect with the nZambi, the Most High. And this is the thing that I want to talk about, because we just had this happen, and now we just had an event, and then we're going to have some other things, of course, that's going to play out in this. It said, "And there shall be signs in the sun." Now, if you recall, this past few months, there's been a lot of talk about solar flares. Okay, solar flares coming from the sun. Okay, and then it said in the moon. Okay, we just had a blood moon, which we know with Lamilia 10:2, we don't ever become like the heathens and be dismayed by the signs. And then the stars. And so one of the things, I saw a video where there were a lot of falling stars recently. There were some stars that were, and upon the distress of nations with perplexity. So even recently, uh, you've heard a lot of um, increased tension between China and America, Russia and America. You saw the incident that was going on between Britain and France, with their arguing about that ship or whatever. Um, you see the people responding to this, lockdowns and and the mandatory vaccinations and all that. And one of the things that is showing us, we can expect that soon we will be working with Kuswa Congo as the army of Isolele to accomplish what the Most High intends for us to do, are what you just saw today. For those who may not know, there was an incident in Wisconsin, and I told my wife, I said, the irony of this is this event took place in the same state where you just saw a man acquitted of murder. Okay, which I know, and those of us who are woke, we know what that was about. Okay, um, we also know, for those of us that are awakened, what was interesting is how they like to advertise in code things that will happen. So around Veterans Day, there was a um, warning of increased potential terrorist threats. And of course, right after that, you saw the event with the taxi cab that exploded in UK, and now you've had a car run through a Christmas parade, which for those of us who are woke will sit there and say, okay, so if you ordered a heightened awareness of something, then how does that happen if you have security around it? So we see that the significance of what has happened is a ritual, what we know as a ritual, because we know they're preparing for the worship of the false Messiah. And one of the things that is happening um, is going to be this sacrifice to the false Messiah in a major way. Okay, so we're starting to see, okay, this unfolding, because we know that December 25th is not the day that Kuswa Kongo Yesaya was born. We know that there's been this great deception, strong delusion. That's why the Most High keeps saying that anybody you try to argue with about it, they're under the strong delusion that Second Thessalonians talks about. We know with the Christmas tree, for those of us that the Most High has woken up to what it represents when you read Jeremiah 10:2, Lamilia, we understand that the world has been brought to honor and worship the son of Lucifer, and not the Most High's, and not to honor Tata nZambi's Bena. Okay, through the deception of those who control this system. Now, of course, many people will be astounded when, like I told one of my brothers, I said, the greatest way to create the biggest chaos is to show people that they have been deceived. And that will create so much anger, so much frustration, so many different things that it will cause a collapse, which is the intention, of course. So you said you'll see the sea of the waves roaring. Okay. One of the things that they have been showing you is a lot of the flooding on the coasts. You saw what's going on the East Coast. You see in Europe, you see flooding in Spain and different places. You've seen a lot of that happening. And it talks about, and then you shall see, and this is where it gets a little bit sketchy, of course, with the interpretation of Muntu spirituality is people think that Yesaya is going to be alone, that Kuswa Kongo is going to be alone. Okay. See me, sister. When really what's going to happen is he's coming with the army of Isolele. He's coming with the major destruction. Now, one of the things that's going to happen with this, and this is what they're planning, for the deception of the paganism of Christianity, this will be originally be seen as the Jesus that they think they know. Okay. Which will then trigger what I truly believe will be what was, it's going to coincide with the reaping of the tares, which they will then call the quote unquote the rapture. Okay. So their intention is that when Tata nZambi makes the decision to collect the tares, this will connect with what they will call the rapture. But of course, for those who are non-believers, they will say, "Oh, it was an alien abduction. It was, this type of stuff going on. People just vanishing or whatever." Okay, because we know as Moontus, as Bantus, that the tares go first. This is what the scriptures say. Okay, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for redemption draweth nigh. Okay, and then it goes down to where it says, so let's go back to 26 where it says, men's hearts failing them from fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So now, if you look at the fear factor, as they call it, or the amount of panic that you have seen with people, you've seen volcanoes, tornadoes, hurricanes, um, fires. You've seen a lot of massive shootings. We just had one recently. There's going to be more, of course. We've seen many things. That you saw the situation with the cargo ships and how they're having issues now with the economy because of that. But yet they're passing, and this is the one thing that I just love when people sit there and listen to politics. They don't understand that these countries are broke. They're spending what they don't have because everything is actually controlled by, we know, the 13 families or whatever of the Illuminati, you know, and the things that they have done. We know who the richest people in the world are right now, and that's what the Most High is going to change. And this is what they're fighting. Okay, um, this is why the Most High will bring major plague, even more plagues, even major things, because he wants that wealth to be redistributed back to Yakuba. I was having a conversation with a relative of mine who was a Rasta. His wife, called him in to be a Baptist, but he knew some things, and he and I were talking. He's like, "Wow, there's certain things I knew, and then you saw about some stuff that I didn't know." And it made him really understand certain things. But he says, some people you just can't change. But what's interesting, what he talked about was the fact that and I remember because I was given the revelation back in 2019 at that time, and I spoke about it, and I said, be ready to receive, the wealth. Well, what happened was, and this is the problem when we're fighting against the enemy, the powers that, this is kind of why we have that tug of war effect going on between us and Shaitani. He was not willing. He was fighting. This is like when it goes to when they don't talk about the book of Jasher. This was his way of grabbing on to uh, the sacrifice of Abraham, and not, or he was, when he pretended to be this little boy in front of Isaac, and he didn't want him to do what the Most High commanded. And then, of course, the place where Abana was supposed to do his sacrifice, Satan turned himself into a flood of water, and Abana rebuked it. Well, that's the thing. It's the same thing now with him, that as he knows his time is growing short, his manifesting things to fight what we're trying to do. So he tried to block the distribution of the wealth. Now, of course, many of the deceived people don't know we were supposed to receive that money that was stolen, but the powers that be blocked it. Now, this is why the Most High is now bringing this destruction on the earth, and they calling it climate change to hide the fact that no, the Most High is battling for his people. This is just like in the days of Kamata. Okay, he's battling for his people to be restored to their nation. But again, because now the people who claim to have been the ones that were captured by Pharaoh are actually the ones helping Pharaoh to keep his hold on us in secret. And of course, we know the UN or all the different leaders, they represent a Pharaoh-like figure. Now we do have those, and I even saw a lady. It was amazing. It's like she went off script. There are those of us who are finally starting to gain that understanding that we don't have to be afraid of the system anymore, because it is starting to crumble. They are starting to lose their grip. This is why they're panicking now. This is why they're trying to push so much into the anti-Semitism stuff. But the problem is there's too much history now coming out that is actually countering what they say. And they know it because the Most High is starting to reveal so much and so many things that it's questioning the narrative now. And many people are starting to say, like it says in Lemuel 16, 19, I believe, no, 19. We have inherited the lies from our forefathers. Okay. So now the enemy's distractions are starting to intensify so that people remain with the scales. Hallelujah. See me, brother. Nice to have you. Indeed. So, at this point in time, we as Banabetu, as Isolele, must now begin to rise even higher. We must begin to shine even greater. We must become more in tune with Tata nZambi because of this very strong delusion that is going to fool so many people. Because we know what is going to happen with this one world religion that will soon start. That false joker is going to sit there claiming to be the Messiah, because he is going to come at that time to initiate this process that he is the ruler of. He was the one that they had that was that they have been praying to, or no, that they've been talking to through all of his lying signs and wonders. But we as Banabetu cannot allow ourselves to be in that distraction. We cannot allow ourselves to fall into the traps of the things that are to come, but to focus on what the Most High is bringing for his people to be restored and be a part of helping our people to connect with that, to not have the fear. Because there is, as you can see now, okay, these people in Wisconsin are shook. How could this happen at a parade when we're celebrating the birthday of Jesus? What is going on? Okay. So many more things like that and others will continue to occur, to where people are going to be wondering, what's going on? What's going on? But they will not know, because remember, the Most High uses the foolish things to confound the wise. The wisdom of the wise is going to be made foolish. Their wisdom, their truth, what they see and what they know about this world is going to be exposed. And they will look, see, even now, when I talk to family members, they are, let me explain the biggest issue we're having, especially when you're dealing with Banabetu who still have the scales over their eyes. Okay? They don't know that they are the victim of those who never let go of the slave master, who love the slave master, even after the so-called Civil War, even after the wars in Africa, even after the wars in South America and in the Philippines. Yes, then that's why they don't, America doesn't talk about that war, but many of the Filipinos love their master. that they now condemn their brothers over there. Many of them loved what colonialism brings to them, that they allowed it to be modified to where you're still colonized, but you can't see it. That is the significance of what we call programming, matrix, deception. Because you believe that the world cares about you when it doesn't. Because Lucifer has deceived the whole world. That's what Revelation says. So many of us who sit with the scales over our eyes still can go to church, listen to a Christmas sermon, listen to all of these things about it, but skip over Jeremiah 10:2. Because why? We don't want to be the fool. Because if you realize that the things we are saying is accurate, then that means I'm an idiot. I'm the dummy. I'm stupid. And Tata nZambi is now going to show you, yes, you were fooled. Hence the reason where April Fool comes from. When they changed the calendar and you believe the things that they told you, when they accept, and it's funny, like I said, they did it in the month of October, the true beginning of the new year for the Southern Hemisphere, which is what the Most High went off of. Because Africa is the origins of time. That's where it starts with Adama and Ewa, and and Adam and Eve, in the garden, because it was in Congo. That is where the springtime began, and then the seasons and all of that from there. And even Adama made in South Africa, you talk about the thing that he made, the altar and all those different things to honor the Most High in the different places that he went from there. But because the narrative is deceptive now, because the false Messiah has changed times and seasons already, you can't see it. You can't see it. So now we're living in a time where the Most High is shaking everything up, shaking it, like he said he would do in those days. We are fulfilling what Kimbangu talked about 100 years ago, what was prophesied by Simon Toko and all of those that have been given the Most High's giftings to reveal these things. Because the world could not be the way it is forever, because the days of Noah have to happen. So the powers that be hid that concept from you. You are the days of Noah. You are living in the technological advances that caused the flood. You are living in the deceptive doctrines that caused the Most High to destroy the world. And only a few, mostly animals, of course, survived. Okay? But when you try to tell your brother, your sister, who is not, who continues to believe in the system that was given to them, they will reject it because of the fact they have eyes. That's why it says we have eyes yet they do not see. Why? Because we do not ever do what the Most High said. Question every spirit to see if they come from Yahweh Congo, from Yakongo, from the Most High, from Tata nZambi. We didn't do that. Even as Banabetu and Isolele, this is how we lost our kingdom. We had everything sitting on top with the covenant of the kingdom of Congo in place. But yet when spirits would come among us, we did not question, who are you? Where did you come from? But yet we did the things that these spirits wanted us to do that caused the division among us, just like before, just like what happened with Yakubi, no, Yosephu and his brothers. That spirit came upon him jealousy and said, who are you to say that the Most High favors you? And then we had the same problem in Isamuele, when the Most High said, I am the king of Isolele, but the people want a king. And we know what he told Isamuele, that this is why it's not a coincidence that when we have had kings leading us, we have ended up where? In captivity. Because they are not the Most High. Now, that doesn't mean we don't honor the kings that we've had. I don't say we don't honor them. But look at what Mwene Congo did with the Portuguese. Instead of rejecting the offer, what did he do? And the elders, they received it. And even though the warnings were given, don't mess with these people, just like how they stole Noka, which you call Hanukkah, from us. Remember, the elders then said the stupidest thing in the book of Maccabees. It was better for us with the heathen. How can you say that? This is exactly what the same people said when we were leaving Kamata. Oh, it was better for us when we were in Egypt. Are you crazy? And this is what we're dealing with, the same mentality now. Even those who have left and gone to the continent, who came back and said, I can't handle this. Why? Because you did not empty your vessel of the Mundele Kadiampemba teachings. You hang on to Babylon. You cannot leave Babylon. Trust me, I am pointing the finger at myself, because even here, as I came back, there are things that reattach themselves to you that you try to fight. Because I did not understand the intricacies of how you receive wealth in this country. I even learned the secret of my own family member that my own other family member didn't even know. How you keep your wealth in this nation was to join the other side. Or they took it. This is what my cousin even revealed to me. That is how many of us, Siemi, this is how many of us were tricked into, because why? We focus on the material and not the spiritual. Because even though the enemy came with his offer, the Most High could have countered it, but you didn't give him a chance. You never gave the Most High a chance to say, hey, I will fix this. You don't have to join him. I will fix this. And that is where many of our people have fallen. When we give our kids and children over to Moloch, when we give our people over to the worship of Balaam or Baal, people from the days of Noah that you worshiping, Tubal and Jubal Cain, who were destroyed by the Most High. What are we doing? Tata nZambi destroyed Jubal and Tubal Cain, but we worship them as gods. What are we doing? This is why Tata nZambi was like, and then we worship in Esau as a god, and we worship in Nimrod as a god, and we worship in Tammuz and all. It's like, what is wrong with us? We worship in the harlot, Ishtar. We have forgotten. That's why he says, my people have forgotten me. They forget who I am, what I can do, what I am able to accomplish. The fact that they are trembling right now proves that. They can see, they can sense, they can feel the shift that's coming. And they know, I have said, they will always fight against Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. They do not want to come and worship at the feet of Banabetu. But yet Banabetu will continue to worship at their feet. Why? Why do we accept what isn't true all the time? Because we don't discern. We realize the Most High said his thoughts are not your thoughts. And we don't, and we lean on what? Our own understanding instead of his. That is the issue. He said, lean not on your own understanding. I am guilty of that. Many of us are guilty of that. This is significant as to why you see, because many people now have leaned on their own understanding. As the world is being shaken, their hearts are faint. They are in confusion. They are in disarray. They don't know what to believe. They hear one thing on the news. They hear that on the news. They hear what people are talking about in the churches, in the different assemblies. They hear all these different things. And they are now lost as to who is right and who is wrong. But they'll say, oh, I'm going to latch on to Jesus, because I know he's coming. When they don't understand, you were supposed to be what he taught, since that's what you want to call him. That is the concept that Kuswa Kongo Yesaya was trying to say. You will do, when you believe in me, then you believe in the Father. You will do the things that I did and more. So how can the world still be in darkness if you've received the light? All these people say, oh, I received Jesus. I received. The world is in darkness. How can that be if you have received the light? How can Africa be the condition that it's in? How can America, South America, Russia, anywhere, for all these people running around saying they know Jesus? How can you still have people in darkness? Because the light inside of you will make the demons run away. That's what it does. Even Kuswa Kongo said, and this is where we don't understand, this is not my kingdom. Because if it was, you couldn't touch me. The Malakis would be there right in front of you, swords drawn, weapons drawn. You can't touch this man. Is that what is happening to you in this world? Are you an untouchable of the Most High? You see, you got to understand. Just like in the case of Simon Toko, I was so, when I heard how humble he was, the man who got run over, he said, "Thank you very much." I was like, what? That is crazy. I said, I have a lot of work to do. These people just try to kill me. I said, "Thank you very much." And he was trying to show the reason why is the Most High was glorified because they could not kill him. This is how we must have the love and compassion for our people. Because even he was betrayed by Bantus in his own land that wanted to be what? In love with the Portuguese colonizer. This is the same problem we're having in America. You have people that claim to have left slavery in the South, but when the slave master put them up on a pedestal in the form of the boule, they love this place. They don't want to leave it. Oh, Massa, they gave us a position now. They gave us wealth. They gave us money. Do you not understand that that is not the way of the Most High? We are not here to work and build Lucifer's kingdom. Because that is exactly what Yesaya, do you want to call him Jesus Kuswa Congo? That's what he was trying to tell you. You, the people in Isolele at that time, Israela, we were building the kingdom for Lucifer. That's why the Most High was upset with us. And he scattered he scattered us with the war with Rome. He's like, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna bring out that Josephus that talks about the Roman general Titus even says, we did not take down the wall of Jerusalem by ourselves. We had help. The Most High himself destroyed Isolele. They even said that they felt like there was a hedge around the people, that it was lifted in his teachings. The Most High lifted the protective hedge that he had around the Banabetu, and next thing you know, we were a demolished nation. When did he restore the hedge? In the kingdom of Congo. Nobody understands that. He brought back the covenant. He restored the hedge. And what did we do? At that point, we were supposed to rule the nations. But we allowed, once again, Baal snuck in the back door. And our leaders said, oh, well, this looks better than what we do. Wait a minute, what? How can that be? This has always been our problem. We always want the lovers, like he talks about in the book of Hosea, and not, you know, like I said, I did a video, I talked about it. We want the pimp daddy, not the real daddy. Because when you go to Lucifer, he's going to pimp you out. That's what's happening to us. We have become the money for the other nations that are using us in secret. They have taken our inheritance, our wealth, our own people. You see what has happened to us around the world. How we have had our own people kill and use one another in the most wickedest of ways. But then they'll go into the church house on Sunday. Oh, Jesus, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. And yet we can still continue to conspire against one another, as we have learned from those that this is what they do. People don't understand the dog eat dog world is not the Most High's way. But we have been convinced that this is the way it should be. So now, as the Most High begins to transition from that mindset, people are in shock. What's going on? I don't get it. I thought we were taught this and this and this. But again, to receive this truth, to receive this knowledge, to know that this is really what's happening. No, see, I can't do that. No, there's nothing wrong with what I know. I've had so many things happen. Again, let's go back to 2 Corinthians. And no marvel, because Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. What does that mean? It means he will also do miracles for you, so that you don't see who you're talking to. And then it says, of course it says, and it is no consequence, I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, that his ministers will masquerade as ministers of light. This is why you go to your pastor and think that he's preaching the truth, when in fact many of them know we are not. You have to understand, there are Banabetu, Bilaka people that receive their gifts from Tata nZambi. Remember, the scripture says the gifts are never in need of repentance. It's what you do with it that's the problem. That are using the gifts they were given to benefit the enemy. That is the wheat and the tares. You take your gift, you benefit the enemy, you are a tare. You are not building the kingdom of the Most High. You are building his kingdom, and you can see that with all of the cities where you have the people that believe that it is okay to have these rich, rich, rich folks on top and these poor people on the bottom, and the Creator is cool with that. This is the brainwashing, people. This is not okay. The nZambi did not. Let's go back to Adama. Adama had everything he needed, and he didn't even have clothes on. He could do miraculous things, fly, teleport, whatever, all the things of the spirit. So what does that say about us today? You are living in the world of want, desire, things that are worldly, not need. This is why when Yesiah said, take no thought of the things for tomorrow will take care of itself. And you don't need to ask. The Father knows what you need. He said, even when Solomon was dressed, the flowers of the earth were nowhere, he was nowhere near in comparison to the flowers of the earth. That the Most High had dressed the earth with the different colors and what he had done and his, creation and the beautifulness and the splendor. He said, the birds, don't they eat? Everybody, don't they, the lions, they get their food? Don't they get their food? And then he said, he loves you more than they. So what will he do for you? But the Bana Betu said, we want what they got. Because what happened? The curse of Esau and it's not just his curse, because there were other curses out there. They're living like they're poor. They have to go gathering all the riches and all the stuff that they need. Why? Because without it, they're nothing. That's why they know if France goes broke, if England goes broke, if America goes broke, if anybody, these people go broke, what will they be? So they want to hang on to it. No. We don't want it to go back to these people, because now we live like the bum on the street that we can't stand. We live like the person who's wallowing in squalor. If this wealth leaves us, we become the dirt again. Like when we were living in the caves. They understand this, people. But so they continue to trick you and manipulate you and tell you, no, no, no. See, you live in the right way. To keep you away from the blessings of Tata nZambi, from the Most High, from our Congo, to keep you from what the Most High wanted to give you willingly. And you took it and you gave it to somebody else. That's why he said, I gave you the grain offering and you gave it to your lovers. What is wrong with us? This is why we even see the leaders doing it today. Come to our country. Oh, help us. What? Take the wealth of our land. Here. You're doing the exact same thing that caused us to lose the kingdom in the first place. And you don't even see it. To lose our practices, to lose our ways that would bring us the gifts of our labor in spirit and in truth, that would have made it to where no nation could touch you at all. And this is what Isaiah chapter 2 is telling you. The Most High will now take his people and put them back where they belong, and he will rebuke those that do not want to be a part of that. And all the nations, the remnants of whatever's left after whatever happens, we know how it's going to be some massive stuff going down. The remnant of these nations will come to the Most High and be taught his ways. And the world will be restored to what the Most High intended. But that cannot happen unless we do exactly what it says in the song Beulah Land. It says specifically, united we stand, divided we fall. When he says, tell all the Buffalo soldiers, prepare themselves for war. That is Isolele's army. And it will be a spiritual war of massive proportions that will spill over into the carnal world because the veil's going to be lifted. And their hearts are going to faint, boy. Oh, their hearts are going to faint. When they woke up, they're like, what is that? Whoa, what is this? When they see all them super black supermen running around with the most greatest power they've ever seen, running around doing the stuff that they do, what's going on? Because the salvation of the total of the earth comes through the Bana Betu of Isolele Yokana 422. Salvation is of Yaounde, Yuda. Not just Isaiah by himself. He said that. This is the deception of the deceiver. One man you're looking for when there's many Messiah figures coming. And he said that himself. Because when you become attached to Kuswa Kongo, to the Most High, to the Spirit, we become one. This is why they had to disconnect us and said that the unity of us is the threat to the rest of us. So they keep us arguing. So they keep us fighting. So they keep us divided. So the spirits come in and they create animosity among us. They keep us worrying about the stupidest things that don't even matter. Who won the football game? Who cares? The Most High is like, what about my kingdom? Who's the best athlete that ever played the game? Exactly. See, they took what Kuswa Kongo said. Shaitani said, he told you, if my house is divided, it cannot stand. So what did he do? He divided the house of Isolele. Because we cannot stand. That's what he did to the kingdom of Congo. He said if the kingdom of Congo is not divided against itself, they will rule forever. So they went there and they created chaos. But we didn't see it. They used what we were already having issues with, even when Islam came. People don't understand. Islam was the precursor to cause a division amongst our people. Christianity finished the job. This is the issue. Berlin Conference, exactly, the Congo Conference. So they, man, this is why you have the deceptive leaders who will preach unity but want to help with the division. So you must discern what leaders really are here to help us and which ones are just puppet figures. And that is the key. Is your spiritual level must be so high that when you talk to a world leader or you talk to a certain person, You can see who they are before you talk to them. This is what was the advantage of Isaiah. This is what was the advantage of Simon Toko. Simon Toko could already see who he was talking to. He knew they were going to give him the runaround, but he made them know they weren't going to get away with it. He will be back in his when they put him in Portugal. He said, I will be back." And they were sitting there like laughing at him, like, "How can that be?" And then shocked the day he came back. Wait a minute, how did this happen? You see, that is the proof. Nobody can stop the Most High from doing what he wants. But if you're not helping, then you are against the plan. If you are creating strife and division, okay, and I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of certain things. I know I've made mistakes. But the reality is, the Most High is no longer going to tolerate the division, because there will be those who unify. I can sense it. I can feel it. We know something is happening, because I know there are those who listen to us that we don't ever see, that they are working in the shadows to build that unity up, because we're laying the foundation for those that come after us. Most people don't realize that. And that is why, I'm not going to go too much longer, but, we go into the fact the world doesn't understand its redemption is nigh, but it's not coming the way that they thought it would be. It's coming through a nation that will be on top again with their king, Tata nZambi and Pungutalendo, his holy mountain, and those that will come to worship at it. And this is the issue that many people don't understand. The time is up. The war is now raging. And the false Messiah must have sacrifices to keep his power, because he is losing it. So now you worship him, you are at risk of being a sacrifice, whether you know it or not. And those that play his game will always make it look like it was something else, when they know what it really is, that they worship their most worshipful master. And they know the one master they serve is not Akongo, is not Tanzambi and Pungutlendo, is not Yahweh. It is it is Gadriel, it is Lucifer, it is Shaitani. That's where your God comes from. Gadriel. Go to the book of Hanok, the one who deceived Eve in the garden. They know. The one who walks to and fro, seeking whom he can devour. And he's devouring many people right now. So many Bakongo, so many Bantus who didn't do what Bob Marley said. That's why he was a threat. No, 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 no. Don't tell them to take the shackles off their brain. Are you crazy? If they take the shackles off their brain, we lose. You betrayed us. You don't know what spirits are out there that control certain people. And the last thing they want is to see Isolele with the shackles off their brain. Ingeta. We got it, man. I'm telling you, boy, when the judicial system of this country is blown wide open, and you just saw an example of how they rig it, the more people are going to be livid to how many people are in prison that don't even belong there and how they got there, covering up for somebody else, that they were doing a ritual for somebody else. You're going to see some very angry people, especially at us, Bantu people, because when they find out we were the ones that were supposed to be on top of this earth, and we got put at the bottom because of our lies and deceptions of our own people, that's going to cause a problem for some folks that were allowing that lie to continue. That is where your tears are going to be really collected for. Because they're going to be like, hey, you mean to tell us all this time your kingdom, had it stayed where it was at, the world would be way different than it is now? That my family tree and all these other people went through this because you guys turned against your creator? Think about that. That's going to have a problem for many people. Because look at how the world has turned out today. All the wars that have happened, all the things that have gone down, all the things the strife that people have suffered, because we turned our back on the Most High. Because we did not want to worship Tata nZambi and Pungu Tulendo. We wanted Tammuz. It's basically who the Jesus the Christ is of Christianity. We wanted Tammuz. We wanted to keep weeping for Tammuz, like in Ezekiel, Yesekahya. We wanted to keep weeping for Tammuz, like what happened in Maccabees, like the Greeks were doing, like the Romans were doing. You don't understand. The Roman Empire is the Holy Roman Empire. All they did was change names and took the S off of the end of gods. That's all they did. And then they used the scriptures to dominate. They were converting people to something that wasn't true. Because they wanted power, they wanted control, they wanted to show. That's why they were killing people in the name of Jesus. Because it was about obedience to them, not to the Most High. Because the Pope is the emperor. They just changed his title. This is what you don't understand. He worships Jupiter, just like in the old days. He gives sacrifices to the god of war and all these different things. And then he mocks us in the public. But people don't see it. And then, of course, to change the image makes it even worse. Because we weren't supposed to worry about images in the first place. But this is why, as Banabetu Visolele, as I have even witnessed in my time in Angola, and was made very clear from the elders, the biggest problem we have is love. Black people, especially those who were scattered, do not love each other like the way they should. And this is the intent of the enemy, is to keep that the reality. Because if we love each other, we would not use each other for our own personal gain. Even in the assemblies, the churches, we see people doing that all the time because they know in secret they have made the pact with the witchcraft to maintain, to use the gift for the wrong reasons, to not glorify Tata nZambi, but to serve their other master, the one that they wanted to be with. So now we will prepare, and you will see, as has now just started, as you have now seen an example of the beginning of sorrows for many, many. I mean, stop and think about it. You've had major disasters all over the United States already. You've had major disasters in Asia and in Europe and in South America already. Now, of course, the news doesn't show a lot of this because then it goes to prove he's killing all these Christians out here and Muslims and Jews and other, Buddhists and stuff. They're all dying. So then whose belief is right? Obviously, there's a problem here. When you see what's happening to Italy, wait a minute. Why is Italy getting so much damage now? Why is Spain and, all these different places? Because the Most High is ready to make the change. And the earth is kicking out this wickedness from, it's a restoration of itself. The Toto is get these wicked people off me. Look what they've done to me. Because this is the Most High, the spirit of the Most High is the earth. This is why they did not want us to stay connected to the earth. But there's a wicked spirit that's also with the earth because you got only two kingdoms, Tata nZambi and Shaitani. That's it. But you got Shaitani's kingdom masquerading as the Most High. And people don't even see it. Every day we have been a part of that. But even when you tell people, oh, you're crazy, something wrong with you, there's no way. No. See, I've had people tell me that. Oh, I had this happened. You mean to tell me my 2-year-old was worshiping Satan? And I said, you were worshiping Satan, so yeah, you brought him to him. You just didn't know because your pastors, they lie. Even if they don't know they're lying because they haven't been told the full truth. Trust me, I talked to one. He wasn't one of the brotherhood, but he didn't realize the brotherhood had mistaught him. He believed in the theology that they have been giving him. Many of them do, and they don't understand. You cannot replace the house of Yakuba the way that they taught you, because the Most High cannot break the covenant of his servant. That is why he didn't divorce Judah, Yaoundé. He knew that. Because he knew there had to be a lineage that brings us all back. Even though he divorced the other tribes, he didn't divorce them. And that is what was needed to begin the restoration. But the earth deceived you with another Jesus, with another Israel, with another spirit, with another teaching, with another gospel. Like Paula said, if they come preaching another Jesus, Isaiah, that we did not preach, or another spirit or another gospel, then you will do with that. You will be with that. And that is what has happened. And now the earth will faint, like it says here. Okay? He spake them in a parable. And if you want to know the truth about this parable, go to the Apocalypse of Peter, Kepha, because he talks about this. Behold the fig tree and all the trees, when they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that the summer is now at hand. So likewise, when you see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of Congo is nigh and at hand. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. And now we are going to see this happening. We are the generation when it will all be fulfilled. We are the fig tree that's sprouting the roots. Because that's why they didn't want to teach you the apocalypse of Kepha, because it says that the fig tree is the house of Isolele, not the Christian faith. Because you cannot teach a religion with the knowledge of that scripture. Oh, what? But then the deception is you go blessing the people you think are the people. This is where the deception took place. You create a nation that didn't exist, and you're supporting it. Never existed. The Palestinians keep trying to tell you these people didn't exist. What is wrong with you? But yet they're killing everybody. You see what's happening in Israel and Palestine right now. How can they be from the Most High doing that? Destroying people's lives. That's not what the Most High put us here for. His people were not put here to destroy people's lives. We were to be the salvation of the nations. That's what he said. These people are not bringing salvation. How are they? Do you see it from them? The Most High's chosen people were to bring salvation to the nations. But because we didn't do that, he threw us into a captivity. He's not going to that's how deceived this world is. If we disobey the Most High, he is not going to give you blessings. So then how can you now say that the people that are chosen, who are the wealthiest people on the planet, be his, the descendants of Jacob? Because the Most High would turn his back on his people like always and cause them to go into strife because they didn't do what he says. The scriptures say that. This is why now the narrative is crumbling. Because people are saying, I'm starting to because we're bringing out the scriptures. People are starting to see it, that they obviously were taught wrong. Ingita, hallelujah. So for us as a people, we must prepare to receive these people. Because remember, we are their salvation. Isolele is their salvation. The Banabetu, we are their salvation. The remnant who the Most High chooses, we are their salvation. That is what Kuswa Kongo said. Isaiah said that. The house of Isolele is the rulers of this world. But they don't want that. And they know it. But the Most High is going to continue to shake and shake and intensify till they finally say We can't take it no more because they don't know. He could come with some stuff that they've never seen, and he's about to do just that. Even though they have seen what he's done in the past, that has nothing to do with the future because he can unload like they don't even know. Trust us on that. Trust me on that. He will unload. He has, as I read in the scriptures before, he has an arsenal that they have never seen. And when he opens that arsenal, nothing they could build in this world could ever stop it. Nothing they could ever have constructed in this, from whatever these Malakis have taught them, can match up with what the Most High will bring out of his arsenal. Believe that. And the world will be in awe, and their hearts will faint. And they will do nothing. All they can do at that point is run for the hills, run for the rocks, tell the mountain to fall on us, from the one who to hide us from the one who sits on the throne, because that's all they can do at that point. And they will be, their hearts will be in shock. Ooh, passing out. Who knows how many you're gonna see? Maybe a whole lot of cardiac events pretty soon. But you guys don't have they have no clue. All right. Yingy. All right, family. So I just wanted to bring this message because as we can see, it started. This is the first step in many things to come. Yep, so nini nani, hallelujah. What we're seeing now is the transition. And as I said, I said this before, as we get closer to February, when they start kicking this whole thing off, they know they can. Let me tell you something. You cannot expect people to accept Chrislam without the false Messiah doing his work. Because there's going to be a lot of struggle with that. To know that all the religions are now one. Even the Buddhists are part of that. Even the Hindu people. All of them are in this Chrislam. Because they have all the leaders of the religions have united now under that name. And we know who will be sitting on the top of that. But you know it's going to create friction. But they will be meant to accept it. Because you know that process is in Revelation. You know it. Why do you think they talk about the people that was beheaded? You're going to see, okay, especially I was talking about, the exemptions that they're giving you for religious beliefs. Well, if it's one religion, there's no exemption. You don't have, there's only one, they'll only recognize one religion. So therefore, there is no more exemption. So they will come after you with that. And that's when people will begin to understand. Yes, it was indeed. It was. That's why I said it said the signs we saw the flare of the sun, we saw this lunar eclipse, and then we see the stars that are falling. I watched the video. They had several, they've already had several so-called meteorites or whatever. We know what they are. The Most High is knocking down the principalities that sit on high, but they're hiding it. They're being jacked up. These false messiahs, these fallen angels who sit on high now. Remember the prince of the air. His people are starting to be taken down. He's shaking them to where they will no longer be a threat to us. All right, family. So I want to say Zola Quingi, Sambololo, Santisana, Yenge, and continue to seek the Most High, fast and pray, spiritually, continue to grow in a relationship with him. And I guarantee we will see, as we have been shown. It's not going to be some slow transition when Yakuba goes back on top, it's going to be like boom, boom. Just like how we were radically brought to the bottom when they threw us into slave ships, is the Most High is going to radically bring us back to the top. And they're going to be sitting there like, how did this happen? What is going on? What do we not know? All right. Once again, Zola Kwingi and Inaweza, Yave Kongo Kutwala, Ingita. Be blessed, family. Be safe. Because now we're going to start to really see things come on hinge. Because people are going to start to lose it. You already see they're starting to lose it. And it's just going to intensify more and more. Ingita.